It's time to say goodbye to Jindabyne. It's been my home these 50 years of time. Now the mountains in their winter snow on the snowy river down below is whispering farewell to Jindabyne. And so farewell, old home of mine. They're going to flood the valley and the town of Jindabyne.
In the southeastern corner of New South Wales, the old town of Jindabyne was an historic landmark. With the inception of the Snowy scheme, the town was moved to a position on higher land to make way for the rising waters backed up by the dam constructed in the valley. This is the story of that valley, the end of one era and the beginning of another. The old town of Jindabyne sprang from an early crossing of the Snowy River on the cattle route from the Monero to the Victorian Gippsland. In the 1840s, Stuart Ryrie built a flour mill on the river, the first use of water power in the district. The signs of those early years are still found in the old dwellings. Jindabyne was the haunt of Australia's poet Banjo Patterson, whose many visits to the Monero and the mountains produced such ballads as The Man from Snowy River. Here in Spencer's cottage, on the banks of the Snowy, he is said to have lodged. Perhaps he was reminded of the early days of his childhood, which he recalls when writing of the deserted homesteads and of the passing of the early settlers. This is the place where they all were bred. Some of the rafters are standing still. Now they're scattered and lost and dead. Every one from the old nest fled. Better it is that they ne'er come back. Changes and chances are quickly rung. Now the old homestead is gone to wreck. Green is the grass on the well-worn track down by the gate where the roses clung. Gone is the garden they kept with care, left to decay at its own sweet will. Fruit trees and flower beds eaten bare, cattle and sheep where the roses were. Over the years, the early settlement grew around the bridge that replaced the crossing. The townsfolk built their churches of brick and stone on the banks of the Snowy River. A Catholic church, a Presbyterian church, and the Church of England. Their houses, constructed of less durable material, stood bordering the road that led to the bridge. The old hotel served many a traveler until a fire destroyed this link with the past. One of the older residents of the township is Mr. Tom Weston, who can recall the days when the river crossing was made by punt.
I was born against Jindabyne, you know, but I come to Berridale for a while, and then my father shipped it to Leesville.
I see. So you returned to Jindabyne when you were a boy, then? That would have been about 80 years ago?
Oh, no, it'd be about 70 years since yes.
And was the old punt there then?
Yes.
This is the old boat killer, old Dave Main. This is the old, so this is a bloke here on horseback. That's the first fellow after Rarie's when bought it. Bill Mildenhall, his name was. This was Sturgeon's store here at the head. This place up here was, it was shed or anything. But the stables was back here. And this is the blacksmith shop. There's the stables.
Mr. Weston, I believe you helped to build the bridge that replaced the punt.
I was a kid. I used to carry the bridges. I used to carry the paintbrushes and things, you know, too. And I had a old-fashioned stag-haired dog. It was only the dog that ever I see dive in water.
And what did they pay you for working on the bridge?
6 or 7 bob.
A week or a day?
The men would only get about 12 or 15 or 18 bob.
A week?
A week.
But the old homesteads, the bridge, and the low-lying properties have all disappeared now beneath the rising waters of Lake Jindabyne. On the hillside, overlooking the old town site, stands a new Jindabyne, a township planned to reflect the district's fresh importance as an avenue to the snowy mountains. A well-known identity is Sister Passmore. She came to Jindabyne in 1945 to take charge of the Bush Nursing Centre, which had been built by residents of the district as the first of its kind in New South Wales. With a doctor's surgery and ambulance station in the new town, the nursing centre is no longer necessary. But Sister Passmore wished to stay with the people she'd known and nursed for more than 20 years. She'll live in Jindabyne in this house, one of the last buildings to be transported. And so, by degrees, the residential area grew. When the public school was completed and filled with youngsters, well, the town had taken on an air of permanency. Gone was the sterile look of the earlier days of construction with the completion of the churches, the CWA hall, and the police station. An ambulance station now provides a service for the town and outlying districts. And a modern surgery cares for the needs of the whole community. Finally, on the 19th of December 1964, Sir Eric Woodward, then Governor of New South Wales, arrived to declare open the new town. In his address, Sir Eric spoke of the new life brought to the district by the town's relocation. And at the ceremony's conclusion, he unveiled the commemorative plaque, heralding a new era for Jindabyne, a town reborn for the new generation. The townspeople said goodbye to old Jindabyne with a pageant, marking the occasion with a crossing of the bridge. And a final trek up the hill to the new township. Demolition teams moved in to clear the valley ahead of the rising waters. And the army took the opportunity to exercise their training in explosives handling by demolishing the old bridge, which had served as a river crossing for more than 80 years.